In recent months, pranks and social experiments have seen a massive spike in popularity on YouTube. Why? We have no idea. But, as many have come to find out, a good percentage of these pranks are indeed faked in order to get a reaction from the audience. Now, while pranks themselves may seem harmless, some recent pranks have caused much debate and controversy. And these are our picks for the top 10 pranks that have caused an outright moral panic. Number 10. First up, we have the relatively recent UFO hoax. On April 1st of 2010, a Jordanian newspaper ran a story informing readers of a UFO landing in a nearby desert, piloted by 10-foot-tall aliens. Unfortunately, the small town of Jafir wasn't in on the hoax, and the town went into mass panic mode. Parents kept their children home from school, security teams were deployed to search for the invaders, and the authorities were even preparing for a complete evacuation of the city. Soon after, the newspaper was forced to apologize for the joke story. Number 9. Information used to flow much slower than we're used to today. On November 9, 1874, the New York Herald published a story about the animals of the Central Park Zoo escaping their cages and roaming free in New York City. You know, sort of like the movie Madagascar. Now, many who read the story began to panic and take cover from the rampaging animals. Unfortunately, they didn't look at the end of the article where it read, in extremely small print, "The entire story given above is pure fabrication." Well, at least they were honest about it. Number 8. Alaska isn't really known for being an exciting place. Sorry to all of our Alaskan viewers. It's a little bit dull out there. However, one day smoke began to rise from the top of Mount Edgecombe, causing many nearby residents to panic and fear that the dormant volcano was going to erupt and destroy everything near and dear to them. But as the Coast Guard flew up in a helicopter to investigate the scene, what they found was a heap of burning trees and April Fools written in giant 50-foot letters. The elaborate April Fool's joke was later revealed to be the work of Porky Bicker. Well played, Porky. That's actually really impressive. Number 7. On September 9th of 1994, a warning was broadcast to the citizens of Taiwan, a city in northern China. The broadcast stated that there was a mythical beast with a fatal bite charging towards the city, and the citizens were urged to take cover. Residents boarded up their doors and windows and contacted authorities, trying to figure out just what was going on. But, as it turned out, there was no beast. The warning was simply an advertisement for a new liquor. The creator of the ad was fined 5,000 yuan for causing mass panic simply for publicity. Number 6. A local news broadcast was interrupted by a disturbing voice who claimed to be Vrillin of the Ashtar Galactic Command, who went on to warn humanity of its destruction unless we got our collective act together. Needless to say, this caused massive panic as viewers began calling into the police station demanding information and protection from the upcoming invasion. Now, obviously, it was later revealed to be a well-conducted prank, but to this day, no one knows who caused the disturbance. Maybe it really was Vrillin. Number 5. In November of 2006, a Boston resident took notice of a strange LED panel that illustrated a man raising his middle finger. The resident called the police, who called Homeland Security, who then identified the panel as an IED, or an improvised explosive device, and had it destroyed. Soon after, more sightings of this little man giving the finger popped up around Boston, and millions of dollars were spent hunting them all down and destroying them, as they were perceived to be some kind of organized terrorist attack against the city. It soon came out that the men were an elaborate prank advertisement for the Adult Swim show Aqua Teen Hunger Force. The prank became so controversial that Cartoon Network's executive vice president was forced to resign over it, and $2 million was paid to Homeland Security and to the Boston Police Force in an effort to make up for the panic that the Moonanites had caused. Number 4. On May 29th of 1947, a dance radio station in Tokyo, Japan was interrupted by an emergency news bulletin of a giant sea monster attacking the city and being combated by the army. For the next hour, the radio station continued to give updates on the situation, describing the armed forces losing battle with the 20 until finally revealing it all to be a hoax, a joke to celebrate the anniversary of the radio station. Unfortunately, no one was amused, as citizens had been panicking ever since the beginning of the stories and barricading their homes, and even the armed forces were told to be ready for an attack by the monster. Even after the jokes ended, panic calls from citizens continued for another 14 hours. The Needless to say, the armed forces were not too happy with this prank. Number 3. A show called Alternative 3 was intended to run in the UK on April Fool's Day in 1977. And if that had happened, it wouldn't be on this list. But unfortunately, someone somewhere decided not to run the show on April 1st, and what followed was mass panic and confusion. The show was a documentary describing climate change and claiming that soon the Earth would no longer be habitable, and it presented 3 solutions to the problem. 1. Reduce the Earth's population. 2. Move people underground. 3. Move people to Mars. This caused many citizens in the UK to believe that the world was truly going to end, and the station received hundreds of complaints from viewers for causing a mass panic. If only the show had actually run on April Fool's Day, like they had originally planned. Number 2. On January 16th of 1926, listeners to the BBC radio broadcast were interrupted by an announcement that a mob of angry workers were storming the city streets and causing destruction. As the story continued, listeners were shocked to hear that a gallery had been looted and a hotel had been blown to pieces. The entire broadcast was accompanied by distant sounds of shooting and explosions, further adding to the panic of the listeners. After countless calls to officials demanding information on the riots, the BBC issued a statement that the stories were not real and that they were just reading a skit off the air. But the panic ensued for quite some time afterwards. This hoax took place not too long after the Russian Revolution, leading many listeners to believe that a revolution was now happening in the UK. And finally, in our number 1 spot, on October 30th of 1938, listeners tuned in to what they thought was going to be a live broadcast of a classical music concert. But mere minutes into the broadcast, an announcer interrupted and informed the audience of massive blue flames shooting from the surface of Mars. The music continued for another few minutes, but was quickly interrupted yet again by news of a meteor hitting Earth, which was soon revealed to be a spaceship carrying a giant alien robot that had emerged from the crater and began attacking any and all humans in its path. Now, this caused massive panic across the country as word began spreading that the US was experiencing an alien invasion. People packed their cars and fled their cities. Others bunkered down in their homes, hoping the invaders would pass them by. After a bit, it was soon revealed that the broadcast was simply a weekly broadcast of the Orson Welles and Mercury Theater. This surprise broadcast was heard by over 6 million people, of which approximately 1 million interpreted it as real, due to the announcement of it being a dramatization coming a little bit before the broadcast started, and not many people actually hearing the warning before the invasion began. But there we go, guys. That's it for our list of the top 10 pranks that have caused absolute mass hysteria. Know of any other world-changing pranks? Be sure to let us know down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe for more great content. But alright, thanks so much for watching Trending 10s, your guide to what's viral right now. We'll see you guys in the next one.